quite long.
As a Labour member, I am concerned, and I have been for a long time, about the fact that people with these smaller amounts of money, and it is a lot of money to a lot of people, just simply have not had mechanisms that are affordable. So I'm extremely pleased to see this step in the right direction. I note that Dr. Duncan Webb makes some interesting points about the gaps that remain, and I also noted that Paul Goldsmith seemed willing to consider those, and I hope that the committee will look at them. The ones that I see, one is actually defamation. Defamation is a really undercooked tort in this country. There's a lot of people suffering a lot of damage on social media, and I wonder whether there is a little bit of an opportunity there to build that in. I do take note that the people that sit on this tribunal aren't necessarily lawyers, and that's sometimes a really good thing, to have a bit of a mix going on of people, because they come with a lot of acumen out of a more pragmatic approach sometimes. So I don't actually have a problem with that, and I can see that that means that it might limit the kinds of things that you have in the Disputes Tribunal, because some are probably more legalistic than others, some quite formulaic, but actually defamation is one that is quite formulaic. It is a test that should be being applied more regularly than it is, and people should be more careful about the damage they do through the statements they make. I am interested too in the issue of the gap that's emerged, where people have been compromising their claims, and I think that's very real. I think there are a lot of examples where people have compromised their claim just to get into the service and get away from what is actually an overwhelming system. We have a lot of work to do with regard to that. And I'm also concerned beyond this bill, but I think it is relevant to it, in situations where people actually just owe debt. Those situations where there is no dispute in play, but people are owed debt, I don't think they're working particularly well either. It costs a lot of money to go into a situation where you get a statutory demand and then you've got to take an action, often in the High Court. The fees are actually exorbitant for that. So I think there may be some work that could be done in terms of also looking at an expansion in that area. So I commend the work that's been done in looking at this. This matters incredibly to New Zealanders. This will affect our small businesses. It will be something that will be incredibly important to a lot of individuals. And those are the people that in this Parliament we should be looking after. And we often bring mechanisms into play which might be well-meaning, but they are just too expensive for people to use in those situations. So the Disputes Tribunal has worked well. I'm always concerned about those kinds of mechanisms like inquisitorial systems because they have got some disadvantages as well. They can be a bit erratic in terms of the justice they mete out, but life is full of that sort of thing, and we've got to kind of strike a balance here. So I do see a lot of advantage in a system which doesn't involve lawyers at this kind of bar, and the $60,000 amount seems about right. I hope that the committee, of course, will also look at the amount, and the submitters, I think, would be welcome to focus on things like whether, in fact, that is the right amount, whether it should be 60, whether it should be 70, whether it should be $100,000. $100,000 is a lot of money. I probably have concerns about going quite that high up, but it does seem that that would be a situation where submissions would be very helpful from real live New Zealanders who have suffered harm under a system that has not necessarily catered for them as well as it should. I commend this bill to the House.
That's interesting, the part being mentioned about debt collection and debt enforcement of collection for debt.
True, yeah. No,
Yeah,
actually, good point.
Yeah, because I took a former business partner to the Disputes Tribunal over that. And yeah, the most satisfying thing was going through there and having the attachment order put against his benefit as a last hurrah. He never expected that to happen, that suddenly out of the blue, $30 a week was getting taken out of his benefit. And
yeah, I mean, suddenly, that's rare to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, it took me about over a year to go through the whole process. And literally,
is that it? Only a year? To be fair, I have friends who've been trying to chase people up for I think I have a friend who's been trying to chase someone up over an issue with a car, basically, that's, been going for at least 5 years now.
Yeah, no, this one was there, but I mean, it gave him about 6 months to give a chance, but he just kept ballsing it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and, the thing, and I got told I was the first person who dragged him through the legal ringer.
Sounds like you needed it, though.
Yeah, I do believe doing that, but yeah, he still tries to think he can be buddy-buddy with me now, and it's like, I want nothing to do with you. He even came up there, in 2019, it's like, hey, look, I voted for you. You should be proud of me. It's like, so what?
Okay, cool story, bro.
Yeah. It's like I took
You
you
also
to do
fucked
a
me
special
over.
vote in 2016 because you turned 18 after the enrollment date closed off. So your first time voting, I dragged you to the polling booth.